In this tutorial, I will show you how to change an existing part. Now, as you can see here, this is the kind of standard frame with the followers. It's got one cam on there. Okay, the base, the sides, etc. Okay, so for example, here's three ideas of ones I made previously. Here's a sort of Star Wars theme one. The idea of this being glued onto the front, and these followers here, as you can see, they attach onto this part here through that cross. So we can spin that around, so we can make that a bit clearer. And then these parts here fit into the slot that I made, that you can see probably clearer here. Okay, that's the idea of that one. This one here was a bird and a cat, and the idea is that they both spin around, and that the cat's kind of going, the bird's going kind of flying around the cat's head as it goes around. And finally, there was a boat here with a kind of these two boats meant to bob up and down, and this was a kind of a sea-looking sort of scape on the front. Now, I could just sort of glue that onto the front there. Okay, what would be nicer though if I could actually fit this part into this top part here. Okay, now obviously that involves editing the existing part, so I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'm going to click on this part here, right click, and in the top corner here I've got a few options that are useful. I've got open the part. That will actually open as a separate part. Okay, that might be useful if I've got a really complicated thing with lots and lots of things going on. Alternatively, I might be able to get away with just using Edit Sketch. So I'm going to try that. So if I click on Edit Sketch, you should see that brings up just that part. It's going to try to hide everything else. Okay, and it's actually showing me some of the dimensions on there. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to change the view so that I'm looking down from the top. Okay. That's not quite worked out what I thought it was going to do. Okay, let's move it around here just so I can see. Okay, so I can see just about there we go. Okay, so I can see the part there. So you can see my fours down the side, and I want to change this. Okay, so I want to put in here a couple of slots so that my seascape is going to fit into there. Okay, so I go to just draw a rectangle, and I can just draw that on the top there. So I'm going to draw one here and one across here. Okay, obviously once I've drawn the lines in, I go to my smart dimension. Now the thickness will always be 3 mils. Okay, so that kind of takes away part of the decision making, which is kind of useful in some respects. Okay, so that's going to be 3. And obviously I don't need to do the other side because it's a rectangle, and I will do the same with that one there as well. Okay. Right. Yeah. So I can just click on there. Now, computer is running a little bit slow here because obviously it's trying to do a lot of things in terms of having all these different parts open. Okay, so I've made those two parts 3. Let us make this here. Again, try and go for standard numbers. It just makes your life a little bit easier. So I'm just going to say 10 with that one and 10 with that one. Okay, now the other really important measurement, okay, because these are going to be my 2 tabs, they're going to fit out the side of the, on the bottom of the seascape, but I also need to know the distance between them. Okay, so I'm just going to grab, again, I've still got Smart Dimension selected, and I'm just going to click on one line, click on the other one, and I'm just going to round it up to 25. Okay, so I just need to remember those numbers. Okay, that's going to have 25 in the middle, with 2 bits that are going to be 10 sticking out the way. Okay, right. Okay, so I've edited this part here to take the 2 slots in. So I can now go top left to edit component, come out of that mode, and that will close that. So that part now, it has been changed. Okay, so I can move that around a little bit so I can just see how that's been changed. Now you will notice that if these 2 are the same part, and if you change one, it will change the other one. Okay. Now obviously, if I'm just changing this one in real life, it doesn't matter whether that one's been changed, because all I can do is when I come to build my real one, I can just pair of pliers and just gently prise off this top bit, and I'll put the new one in. And obviously I can just leave the second one as is, as it's not doing anything. Okay, so I now need to change the other part. Okay, so it's going to fit into there. So let's have a quick look at this. So again, I'm just going to click on there, and I'm going to go to Edit Sketch. Okay, there we go. I'm just going to move it around a bit so I'm a bit flatter on. Okay, so there we go. This is the part I'm trying to change. So I'm going to draw some tabs sticking out the bottom here. Okay, so there's one, and there's another one. Okay, so remember when you draw the rectangle doesn't really matter. It's more kind of important that you put the smart dimensions in. Okay, so I need to remember that these bits sticking out the bottom are going to be 3 mils, so they're flush with the material that they're going through, so they don't stick out underneath. So that will be 3. This part here will be 3. This part here is going to be 10. That part will be 10. And obviously the gap between the two of them was 25. So between here, oh, what's it doing? There you go, between that one and that one is 25. Okay. Now, just having a quick look, it seems to have sort of drawn them a little bit off that line that I wanted. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the smart dimension and actually say from that line to that line, I'm going to say I want it to be 0. Now if you put it to 0, then obviously it's just going to bring it straight up the way. Okay, and I'm going to do the same with that one to there, and say I want that to be 0 as well. So that's bringing that flush in line. What I do need to do though is just trim. I always make sure I'm trim on closest and just trim that bit out there so it is all one part. There we go. Okay, so now hopefully if I now go top left, edit component, click on there. Okay, there we go. You can see I now have the 2 tabs sticking out. Okay, and that will fit into that part there quite nicely. Okay, let's just spend a minute and quickly do that just so we can prove it does work. Okay, so how do we do this? So let's go into assembly and mate. I'm going to select this flat part here. I'm going to want that to be on the inside, so let's just rotate that around. Oh no, hang on, what's happened there? Let's just undo that. Okay, so it was this flat part here. I'm just going to rotate. I'm just using the mouse buttons here because my mouse doesn't seem to be working. Sorry, the keyboard arrows. So it's going to be flush with that part there. Okay, and just say retick. I then need to bring that in line, so bring it sort of left, right. So let's see what's going to be a good one to do. I think I can just about see that little lip there, so I'm going to say that bit there will touch that part there. Okay, so that's it gone in the left, right, and now all I need to do is the top bottom. So I'm just going to go underneath and just tell that bit there to be flush with that bit there. Okay, and that's my part perfectly in. Okay, I know if I laser cut that, okay, it will come out looking exactly the same as that part there. Hopefully that's been useful.